Yo, it's part two. Let's go.
She kept saying that she couldn't believe I would choose a house over our relationship and our future together. I pointed out that she was the one who had made it a choice between the two, not me. I told her she could take some time to pack her things from my apartment and figure out where she wanted to stay. Jessica left that night, clearly expecting me to call her within a day or two and apologize. But I didn't call. I felt relieved more than anything else. Update 1. Jessica had been staying at her sister's apartment for about a week when the text messages started. She sent long messages about how she didn't really mean the ultimatum and was just testing whether I was committed to our future together. She said she was hurt that I would end our entire relationship over something as trivial as paperwork. I found out through mutual friends that Jessica had been telling a very different version of the story to anyone who would listen. According to her narrative, I was financially abusing her by excluding her from major decisions about our future home. She claimed that I was being controlling and manipulative by refusing to include her in the house purchase despite us being engaged. Some of our friends started taking sides. A few people reached out to me asking if I was really being as unreasonable as Jessica made it sound. They seemed to think that engaged couples should make all major financial decisions together and that I was being unfairly exclusionary. But my family was completely supportive of my decision. My parents pointed out several red flags they'd noticed about Jessica's attitude toward money and our relationship. My dad mentioned that he'd always been uncomfortable with how Jessica seemed more interested in my career prospects and financial stability than in me as a person. My mom admitted she'd noticed that Jessica always seemed to expect me to pay for everything and never offered to contribute to dates or activities. Jessica showed up at my apartment the following weekend, crying and begging me to talk. She said she'd had time to think and realized she'd been unreasonable. She admitted that she felt insecure about the financial disparity in our relationship and that demanding to be on the deed was her way of trying to feel more equal and secure. As I listened to her explain her feelings, I realized that Jessica fundamentally saw me as a solution to her financial problems rather than as a partner. She wasn't upset about being excluded from the house purchase because she wanted to build something together. She was upset because she saw my house as her ticket to financial security and stability that she couldn't achieve on her own. Jessica promised to drop her demand about the house deed if I would just take her back. She said she understood now that I had earned the right to make that decision on my own and that she would be supportive of whatever I decided. But I could tell that her apology was more about not wanting to lose the lifestyle and security I provided than about actually understanding why her ultimatum had been inappropriate. I told Jessica that I needed more time to think about whether our relationship could work given what had happened. I didn't commit to getting back together, but I also didn't definitively end things. I wanted to see how she would handle the uncertainty and whether her behavior would reveal more about her true priorities. Update 2. About 3 weeks later, I put in an offer on a beautiful 3-bedroom house in exactly the neighborhood I'd been hoping for. The house was perfect for me, within my budget, and represented everything I'd been working toward for years. When the offer was accepted, I felt an incredible sense of pride and accomplishment. Jessica found out about the house purchase through mutual friends and her reaction was immediate and frantic. She started showing up everywhere she knew I would be. She appeared at my workplace during my lunch break, at my gym after work, and even at the grocery store I usually shopped at on weekends. Each time, she would try to engage me in conversation about our relationship and about the house. Jessica was telling everyone who would listen a sob story about being abandoned by her fiancé right when they were supposed to be building a life together. She painted herself as the victim of a cruel and heartless man who had discarded her the moment he got what he wanted. She conveniently left out the part about her ultimatum and her demands to be added to the deed. My coworkers started asking questions about the woman who kept showing up at the office looking for me. I had to explain the situation to my boss and ask security to prevent Jessica from entering the building. It was embarrassing and unprofessional to have my personal drama spilling into my workplace. The most disturbing development came when Jessica's sister called me. She said she was concerned about Jessica's mental state and wanted to give me a heads up about some things Jessica had been doing. Apparently, Jessica had been spending hours online researching common law property rights and had even consulted with a lawyer about whether she might have any claim to the house since we'd been engaged. Jessica's sister warned me that Jessica felt entitled to something from our relationship since we'd been planning to get married and she'd been emotionally invested in the idea of the house. She said Jessica was talking about how unfair it was that I got to keep all the benefits of our relationship while she was left with nothing. This conversation made me realize that Jessica had never actually seen our relationship as a partnership between equals. She saw it as a business arrangement where her emotional investment and time should translate into financial gain. She felt entitled to share in my success and assets simply because we'd been together.
That's not new. That's in today's relationship market. That is a common issue. Very common issue. Disgusting, but common. But he just confirmed what I said in the last video. How she was never really invested in that relationship. It was about what he could do for her in the long term. That's all she wanted out of the marriage. That's the only reason why she flipped out about that house. The only reason. You got to vet your partner. I'm talking about men and women. You guys gotta vet your partners carefully. Have family that don't mind pulling you aside to point out the, you know what I'm saying, not flaws, because nobody's perfect, but to point out the red flags that your heart refuses to let you see. Because love can blind you. People with real hearts, people that truly love, will blind themselves to red flags. I would know. Have those friends, have those family members that don't mind pulling you aside to tell you what's up. I hope you do. Let's talk about it.